Welcome, Farragut Middle School 8th graders. Welcome to the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. I am so glad that you kids decided to come out here to the park today. Logistically, what we're going to be doing is taking about an hour. We're going to review what we did in class earlier this week, and then we're going to dive into using a dichotomous key to identify some of the plant life. And what we're going to identify is trees in particular. So we're going to talk here for a little while, and then we're going to go hiking on the trail, and you guys are going to identify the trees on your own, but I'll be around if you need any help. Does that sound okay?
Yes.
I really love it here in the Smokies. One of the unique things about the Smokies is we have over 1,600 different vascular plants. We have over 135 different trees. That is more tree species than can be found in all of Northern Europe. Does anyone have any idea on why we have such a large diversification of trees here in the Smokies compared to maybe Northern Europe?
No. Climate, maybe?
Climate, very good. I like that. Climate is one of the answers. What is unique about the climate here? Now, you all know about the ice ages. Well, what's unique is the Appalachian Mountains are a north-south running mountain chain. So as the glaciers moved south, they never reached down here, but they pushed the northern boreal forests in front of them. And then when the ice retreated, those northern forests followed the ice back up to Canada, but they also went up the mountains so that they could get to the colder area. So what that left us with was these islands of northern boreal spruce fir forests at the top of the mountains, and the other forest types all the way down the slope. So we have 5 major different forest types right here in the park. Versus in Europe with an east-west mountain range, when the ice ages came through, they pushed those forests in front of them until they came to the Alps, and nothing went over and beyond that. So that's what makes this park so unique with the number of trees. Now, in class, you reviewed the scientific classification of life, and we looked at general classifications, we looked at man, and we looked at the American black bear. And the American black bear is sort of exciting to me because that's one of the things that makes the Great Smoky Mountains so exciting, is because we have such a huge density of black bears. The highest density of black bears of anywhere in North America. So, do you remember the different classifications for the American black bear? Kingdom, phylum or division, class, order, family, genus, and species? Ring a bell with any of you? Because you learned that in class this week. And there's a couple of different ways you can remember that classification. And I like to say, King David cried out for a green salad. Kingdom, David cried out for green salad. So it makes it really easy to understand. And if you remember on your black bears, we started with the animal kingdom. And the phylum or division is Chordata, that they have a spinal cord. The class is mammals. The order is carnivore. The family is Ursid, which is dog-like. The genus is Ursus, which is the bear. And of course, finally, our species, which is Ursus americanus, or the black bear. So we're going to talk about trees today. But before we start, I'm going to start with the very easiest one. What is a tree? If you had to describe to a space alien that there's trees, how would we know what's a tree and what's something else? What are some features that would make something a tree?
Leaves.
Leaves. Very good. Trees have leaves. Now, I want to try and focus on the features that are unique to a tree, or close to being unique. And there's a lot of plants that have leaves. What else would make something a tree?
Bark.
Bark. Very good. Trees have bark, and all vascular plants do not have bark. So that's a very good one. What else?
Long stems.
Long stems. That is a very good answer, because trees, generally speaking, have one large stem all of their own, versus a bush may have several. What else?
Roots.
Roots. Very good. Very good. Trees generally have their own independent root system that they don't share with other trees. So that's very good, because a lot of plants will share roots. There'll be one plant that's all strung together with different roots. So that's a very good one. What else makes it a tree?
Flowers.
Flowers. That's a good answer. There are flowers on a lot of trees, but there are flowering plants, and a lot of them, that are not trees. And there are trees, particularly conifers, that do not flower. So that's good thinking. How about size?
Tall.
Very good. Trees are big. How big? Some say bigger than a man. Some say 15 feet. Some say 20 feet. But yes, generally speaking, trees are big. What else can we say about trees? Do they have a nice big crown on them? Yes, they do. That's another thing that makes a tree unique, because if we're talking about bark, we could have a bush, but it has many stems. But we could also have a big vine. You know, poison ivy can get a vine as big as your arm that has bark on it. The grapevines, the wild grapevines, can also be the same. So what makes a grapevine? It has an independent root system. It can be more than 20 feet tall. And it has flowers and leaves. So why is it not a tree? Because it does not have a crown. So a tree has a crown. Well, that was the easy part. I'm glad you guys were able to do it. Now, we're going to talk about identifying trees. What do you think we can use to identify a tree?
Leaves.
Leaves. Very good. That is an excellent way to identify trees. Any other things we can use to identify a tree?
Bark.
Bark. Very good. Trees have different looking bark depending on the tree species, depending on the age of the species, the tree. What else could we look at?
Berries or flowers.
Berries, flowers, fruits, nuts. Excellent. Those are great ways. In fact, oh, look what I found here. Anyone know what this is?
What is that?
Right here, you can tell that we have got, this is a sweet gum ball. So we know that probably not too far away from here we could find a sweet gum tree. So you don't have to have the leaves or the bark. You can just have fruit. Now I'll just put this back down so that the next visitor can come and find it on their own. Color, texture of the leaves, texture of the bark, smell, and taste. Often it comes down to smelling or tasting the leaf to find out what type of tree it is. Another thing we can use is soil. Is it in a damp environment, a dry environment? Altitude, aspect. What's aspect? Any ideas on what aspect is? Come on, 8th graders, put your thinking caps on. It's not that early.
Slope. Maybe the side of the slope.
Excellent. Aspect would be the angle of the slope. Are we a southern-facing aspect, in which case it would be a dry environment? Or are we a northern-facing slope? It makes a difference on how much moisture there is and what type of trees you're going to have. If you know your altitude and aspect, you can narrow down to a big degree the trees that you're going to see. So, we are going to concentrate on leaves, because leaves really are an excellent way to identify trees. If you can see